Hi everyone, welcome back to Quirky Pineapples. If you're new here, I'm Vina, a plant-based recipe developer and food blogger. And today I'm showing you 4 high-protein vegan sandwiches that you can pack for lunch. Whether you are traveling to school or you are commuting to work, or if you work from home, I think these sandwiches are perfect for keeping you satisfied throughout the day, and they travel well. Not to mention, they're pretty delicious. Let's get started.
First, we want to start out with a high quality bread, some peanut butter, some jam, some chia seeds, some pumpkin seeds, ground flax seeds, some sunflower seeds, and some ground cinnamon. Now, this might seem like a lot, but this is going to add in a lot of extra protein. Peanut butter alone already has quite a bit, I believe 8 grams of protein per 2 tablespoons. But by adding these seeds and the ground flax seeds, it's going to help add a lot of extra. So we're just going to mix and combine all of those ingredients together and then set them off to the side. Then we're going to grab our jam and toss in those chia seeds and give it a mix. Now you can use any jam that you'd like. This one was like a super fruit jam that I got from Thrive Market, but you can use any jam that you prefer. Then, of course, like any other PB&J, you're just going to spread on your peanut butter and your jelly. Now, by simply adding just these seeds, we have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that boasts 26 grams of protein between the jam, the peanut butter, and the bread. The bread alone is 10 whole grams of protein. The peanut butter ends up having 8 grams of protein. And then by adding those nuts and seeds, you're adding 2 to 3 extra grams of protein with each item. Now, if you've got picky kiddos who don't like the crust, you can do like I did here and make them into sort of an Uncrustable. But if you want to get the max protein, especially for yourself, then just spread everything out and eat the entire sandwich, which is what I would do. But like I said, if you're making this for your kiddo, then this is a nice, cute sandwich for them. Next is my avocado pesto white bean sandwich. So you need white beans, pesto, some avocado, some sun-dried tomatoes that have been chopped, nutritional yeast, black pepper, garlic powder, and some salt to taste. First, you're going to start out by mashing together the avocado and the pesto. Now, I know my avocados look gross, but when my avocados get ripe, I usually freeze them. And so these were some avocados that I had frozen that I just thawed out for this recipe. And they are fresh, but they just don't look as good. So they're perfect, don't worry. So I'm going to mash together these ingredients, mostly because it makes it easier when it's time to mash up the beans if the pesto and the avocado is already mixed. Then I'm going to add that nutritional yeast, the garlic powder, a little bit of salt, and I'll add a little bit more later on when I know how everything tastes, some black pepper, and mix it together. Then we're going to add our white beans and start to give them a good mash. This takes a little time, but it's worth it, trust me. Then I like to add in my sun-dried tomatoes and give it a good stir. Now, I know this doesn't seem like much as far as mashed beans are concerned, but this sandwich has a whopping 24 grams of protein from the white beans, the nutritional yeast, a little bit of protein from the pesto sauce, and of course the bread. Having a good high quality whole grain bread is really great because then you're just getting protein automatically added in. And then for some extra crunch, I like to add some cucumbers and some lettuce to this sandwich just to round it out a little bit so I'm not just eating what might seem like a mushy sandwich of beans. But I love this sandwich because it is flavorful, it's quick to make, and a lot of times I already have these ingredients on hand. Now on to one of my new favorites, which is a marinated tofu veggie sandwich. I'm starting out with some roasted red pepper hummus, then adding on a little bit of mayo, vegan mayo of course. And because my tofu doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, I like to add some salt and pepper. Then I'm gonna add on those tofu slices. These are just a store-bought baked marinated tofu, and they have a whopping 14 grams of protein in just this amount. Then I like to, of course, add on some greens and some sprouts and this delicious heirloom tomato, which if you're packing for lunch, you could put on later on, and some cucumbers. This sandwich is absolutely delicious and it has a whopping 25 grams of protein, mostly coming from that tofu and, of course, our whole grain bread. Now onto my curry chickpea sandwich. You'll need chickpeas, diced apples, green onions and chives, some cilantro, some vegan mayonnaise, curry powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Now, I usually like to start out by mixing my mayonnaise with my spices just to make it a little easier when I add in my chickpeas. So just making sure that everything is completely combined before adding in my more rough ingredients. I probably make this sandwich at least 2 weeks out of the month because it's such a simple thing to toss together and it tastes amazing. It is full of flavor. And so after I'm done mixing my mayo with the spices, I add in my chickpeas that I've just pulsed in the food processor because sometimes they're a little difficult to chop by hand. And then I add my apples and my herbs. Now I give it a good mix. And like I said, this sandwich doesn't have as much protein as the other sandwiches. It has about 17 grams of protein, but depending on some of the things that you might add, like you could throw in a little bit of nutritional yeast, which doesn't change the flavor a whole lot, but gives it a little bit more depth, and that would add an additional 5 grams of protein to the sandwich. Then I throw on some pickled red onions and some lettuce. I don't like to add too much extra to this sandwich because it already has so much flavor in it. And then there you have it. Like I said, doesn't have a ton of protein, but if you do some additions, you can add more, or if you put something on the side.
And there you have it, 4 high protein sandwiches that you can make for lunch, for school, or for work. Now, a few tips that I would give you if you are commuting to work or going to school and your lunch is going to sit for a couple of hours before you have a chance to eat it, is to pack your wet ingredients separate from your sandwich. And usually the wettest ingredient is going to be like your tomato and if you add cucumber. So usually what I like to use is this little box that I have. It's a sandwich box that's specifically for sandwiches. I think I've had this thing for about 5 years now, and it has like a compartment that's specifically for your sandwich, but it also has like these 2 smaller compartments that I usually use for snacks. But sometimes if I have a sandwich and I don't want the bread to get soggy throughout the day, I'll put my tomatoes or cucumbers into the separate slot and then just put them on my sandwich when I'm ready to eat it. So things like this are really helpful. Of course, you can use whatever you have. You can probably maybe put them in resealable bags or something like that. But yeah, I really hope that you found these recipes to be helpful, especially as everyone is returning to school. And if you're a school employee like me, returning to work, or you're just trying to get back onto a good, healthy routine. All of these recipes are available on quirkypineapples.com, or I will put them in the description box below. So don't forget to check those out. Thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.